Hi guys, in this video I'm going to go over a little bit of theory with you, which is in the development section, and it is employment structure change over time, and I'm going to talk you through the Clark-Fisher model, and this is how employment jobs change over time. So the model is divided into three sections. As you can see, we've got stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3, and I'm going to talk you through how countries change from stage 1 into 2 and 3. So if we start in stage 1, this is called pre-industrial. Now this is countries like Malawi. They are here, very poor LICs, and those countries in sub-Saharan Africa. And as you can see, we have got primary industry, which is up here, which is agriculture, which is very, very high. It's about 70%. And most people are working in agriculture. The country is not very rich. It's not making much money because raw materials aren't worth an awful lot. And this is very high. Secondary industry, which is number 2, the blue line, that is quite low. A little bit of secondary industry, a little bit of manufacturing, but not too much. And then tertiary at the bottom is very low. Quaternary doesn't even exist in this stage yet. And that's a country like Malawi who is producing a lot of primary products. They're not selling them for a very lot of money, so the country doesn't make an awful lot of money, can't invest that money into education and skills, so the people don't get very good jobs, the next generation, and it kind of goes on and on. So they're stuck here. So that is stage 1, and that is pre-industrial. So what happens then is over time, the country becomes a little bit richer. Maybe TNCs invest in that country. That tends to be what the case is these days. And the country starts to develop. And what we can see happening is manufacturing starts to decline. Primary starts to decline. Farming and mining starts to decline. Secondary starts to increase as we've got this investment from TNCs and FDI, as factories start opening there, maybe as their own factories start opening there. And as a consequence of that, people can start spending more of their money, or a little bit of their money, on services. So the tertiary sector also starts to increase. And over time, because the people are working in factories and not only in agriculture, the government can gain more taxes and it can start spending more money on healthcare and education. So people will start getting better jobs as they're more educated and more skilled, and that will change over time. And we start getting the decline of primary industry in stage 2 and the rise of manufacturing. Now, a country in this stage will be China. Okay, China, India, Brazil, those type of countries, those newly industrialized countries, those middle income countries that have had the support, I suppose, of us, because we have put investment in there. So that is stage 2. Then as time continues and development continues, we can see that that agriculture takes a really big dip. And that's mostly because what starts happening is you start to be able to buy cheaper goods from abroad. And also because of mechanisation, you don't need as many people working in agriculture. The UK is a really good example of this stage, where we have some people employed in the primary sector, in mining, in agriculture, in fisheries, in forestry, but not an awful lot because we get cheap imports, and also mechanisation means that machinery does most of those jobs, so you don't need an awful lot of people working there. Manufacturing starts to take a dip at this point, as you can see at the end of stage 2 going into stage 3, and that's because job wages for jobs will get more, will be higher, so it becomes very not very good economically to manufacture your own goods there. So what we have here is we have what we had in the 1980s and 90s, which is the global shift. So the global shift happens and we move our manufacturing to cheaper countries, and we move them to China. China's now moving into this stage, and China's starting to put its production into Africa. So maybe countries like Malawi might start developing in the future. That's the idea. And here, primary is taking a dip, secondary declines as well as the cost of manufacturing increases. And as the country has been investing in healthcare and education over time, it's able to have more skilled jobs. So now tertiary becomes the main employer. One, as jobs become more skilled, and we have quaternary or knowledge economy jobs because people are going to university and people are going to school, and we've got good skills and good education systems. But also, as we have got lots of other other jobs in this country because we've got people spending money. Okay, so people have got disposable income and they spend money on goods. So we have people working in the service sector and they work in shops and bars and restaurants and things like that. So at the end, we can see that we've got primary is very, very, very small. In the UK, only about 3 or 4%. Secondary is about 20%, maybe 20, 30%, with the rest being tertiary. We can just see at the bottom this tiny, tiny little orange line, which is quaternary or the knowledge economy, high skilled jobs in finance and IT. And they really are kind of just up and coming because they're the jobs that require lots and lots of skills and lots, maybe a university degree, etc. Okay, so that is the Clark-Fisher model, and it shows the stages of development and how employment structure changes over time.